And we'll do it in front of yours. And that's just so that afterwards we can sync. Okay. Yeah, well, I try, see what I can do.
Thanks for your effort, Dave.
Yes. Okay.
We're good to go?
We're good to go.
Okay, welcome. This is our first podcast, and I'm Bill Smerhy. I work for Royal LePage Parkway in Peterborough. I've been in real estate now 29 years. And today I have with me Paul Harris-Lowe, who works with Royal Bank Dominion Securities. He's in the wealth management. He's a vice president there. And I've known Paul now, I'm guessing maybe 25 years. He's handled my investments, what I consider very satisfactorily over the last time period. Thanking him for that.
You're welcome.
Because I certainly wouldn't know what to do. Now, we've had a good go, and I brought Paul along today. He volunteered for this, and I just wanted to talk to him about a little bit of what he does. Can you tell us a bit about you, personally, your family, yourself?
We moved here to Peterborough in '95. Did a little bit of a tour around Lake Ontario prior to that. Worked for Royal Bank in their foreign exchange department, trading currency, and then had the opportunity to go down to the United States and work for a Fortune 25 corporation at the time, and then worked for a hedge fund down in Connecticut for a while before coming back to Canada. And we ended up here in Peterborough, which, as it turns out, has been...
That's where we bumped into each other.
Yeah, it's where we bumped into each other, and it's turned out to be a wonderful thing, and we've never looked back. So
that's great. That's wonderful.
Yeah. No, my kids both have grown up here, and they're now young adults, and my daughter still lives here in Peterborough, loves it here, and is working for a furniture store here in town. And my son's now in Toronto, and sort of figuring his way out down in Toronto.
I don't understand. Dougie's now an engineer, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, good for him. Yeah.
Yep. And my wife Maureen, she's been running the Peterborough Children's Chorus. It's 20 years this year that she's been running that, and absolutely loves it. So we've been very involved in the community for the past 20 years, and as I say, we really haven't regretted a moment of it. It's turned out to be a wonderful experience.
That's nice. So you work with Royal Bank Dominion Securities, and you're in the wealth management. What exactly? Can you tell folks exactly what you do there, or something of general guidelines?
Well, I guess to boil it down to as simple as possible, I guess our goal really is to give folks like yourself and our other clients the peace of mind that they're searching for as they sort of enter into retirement and then go through retirement to make sure that they're never ever going to have to worry about their financial concerns. So our objective really is to make sure that we understand fully what their concerns are, what their goals are, and make sure that we've aligned their investment portfolio as well as just their wills and everything else in line with what their long-term objectives are, so that they know that everything is lining up the way they would hope.
Yeah, it's everybody's dream, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, you have to retire comfortably.
Yeah.
Comfortably. Yeah, that's one of the great goals in life.
Yeah.
I know last week you had this beer and banter.
Yes.
Monthly.
Yes.
And I find that very interesting because you invite your clients, the folks that are invested with you, and you usually give a general talk about some sort of, I never understand it, but I have faith in you. But could you tell us a bit more about the beer and banter? I know you want to expand it.
Right.
Yeah, and I think that's a marvelous idea too. But can you just give us a few words about what it is exactly and how it works?
Well, so over the years, you've heard there's been different types of meetings, I guess. for a long time we used to do lunch and learns and what have you, and I kind of thought lunch and learns was getting a little bit stale, but still we felt that trying to set something up on a regular basis was a good thing, and we just thought the natural jump from lunch and learn was to go to a beer and banter. And basically our objective is to try to provide information back to our clients and back to people who want to sort of kick the tires in terms of learning more about what myself and my partner Mike Wilson and my assistant Nicole are trying to do for them. So essentially it's open to anybody. If people have friends that would like to come and sort of just learn a little bit about what we're thinking and understand how we think about things and why we do what we do when we're managing people's portfolios, that's really the goal, is to sort of just provide a series of education pieces for people to learn from.
Yeah, I found it very educational, although I think 90% of the material you put out I don't understand, but thank.
Well, and that's my fault. That's one of the concerns that I've got, is that I tend to be very technical, and I tend to dive into things very to a significant degree, to the point that some of the other people at the office kind of tease me about it. But at the same time, my father, who was a physics prof when he was working, always used to sort of, as a teenager, would try to instill in me and my brothers, it's more important to understand the formula than it is to memorize it. Memorizing will get you through the test, but it's not going to get you.
Yes.
And so basically that's how I've kind of gone through my working career, is I feel it's more important to understand what's going on rather than just memorize it, and rather than regurgitate what somebody else has told me. And I think our clients, as much as you're right, I do get technical, and I can lose people at times when I'm talking about stuff.
Not just me then.
No.
Okay, good. That was just me.
Yeah, no. I can lose people, but at the same, which I don't want to do, but that said, I think they have a strong appreciation for how much thought I've put into trying to understand what's going on, and that the decisions I'm making for them and their portfolio is not just a casual decision that somebody from our marketing department sold me a line on.
All those people must have faith in you, or they wouldn't be at that beer and banter meeting.
No, and we're very fortunate, because a lot of the folks that show up at those on a regular basis are some of our larger accounts, and I find it interesting that it's our largest accounts that really want to learn the most. They're the ones who are probably the most comfortable, yet they're the ones who want to learn the most. And I think that sort of speaks volumes for why people do get ahead in life, is because they do want to learn. They do, and they want to understand. And hopefully those beer and banters gets people asking questions about what we've touched on. And at the same time, I've got to know to try to bring it back to a level that people can kind of understand and sort of say, okay, now I get it. But not always successful. So, what can you do?
All you can do is try.
Yep.
That's all any of us can do is try. If you try, that's everything.
Right.
If you don't. So let's change the subject.
Yeah.
What do we do then?
Sure.
What do you do for recreation?
What do I do for recreation? A lot. I mean, I'm pretty active. I play.
It shows.
Well, I play a lot. I play hockey quite a bit. I got a good group of friends that I play hockey with, and so we do that in the wintertime, a little bit in the summer. I'm not very good at it, but I golf in the summer. A lot of people say that, but most people will vouch, yeah, I'm not very good. And we curl in the wintertime. So we do a fair bit of stuff like that.
I understand you were on the executive of the curling club too.
Yep. Up until last year, I was the president. I was on the board, and I was president of the club last year. And I was very pleased with how I was able to finish my time with the board at the curling club, because we've been able to make the curling club profitable for the first time in 10 years. And
That's That's wonderful.
Yeah.
But they must, the folks over there must think that's wonderful.
Well, it means that there's 600 people that have something to go to in the wintertime and do. And if the club was in financial difficulty, they just wouldn't have been able to do that. We would have lost the club. So myself and a couple of others who we worked very closely together, because it wasn't just me. It was a group of us who really worked hard to turn that club around, made some tough decisions, and it's turned out to be a very good thing for the club.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Okay, just before we wrap up here, what are your hopes and dreams for the future? Like, where do you want to see this go? Where do you want to be? Like,
well, I guess like anybody else, I want to know that I can retire comfortably.
you can do that now.
Maybe, but something. I enjoy what I do, and you asked about hobbies, and I mentioned it in my last newsletter that I blasted out. A lot of folks like sports. They like woodworking. I've got a lot of clients who enjoy working with old cars. A lot of people have different hobbies, and for me, understanding the markets is a hobby. It's
that's nice. That's
and
nice. You enjoy going to work. I know.
Yeah, and I was mentioning. I mean, in the last, I started with Dominion Securities in 2000, and I can honestly say
We're going on 20 years, aren't we?
Yeah. There's been I don't think there's been too many days where I don't think there's been any days where I've woken up thinking, gosh, I don't want to go to work today. I enjoy it, and as I say, it's one of the things that I remember when I was younger, people saying is, if you can make your career out of your hobby, you're set. And and so that's kind of what's happened. So as far as my hopes and dreams, I hope to continue to work for quite a long time. I don't really, I may slow down. I've got great people working with me now.
Have to work.
Yeah, but
Billy needs.
Billy needs to be wealthy, and that's important.
Needs you to work.
And so my dream is that Billy's wealthy. But
That's perfect. We have the same dream.
there you go. And so,
Imagine that.
Yeah. So I guess my dreams are that we were able to have a long, healthy life where Maureen and I can do some traveling and sort of enjoy seeing different parts of the world. I've got a brother in the Far East and a niece in the Far East, so it'll be fun to get to see them. It'd be good to just enjoy life and see what the world has to offer. But
It's a big world, isn't it?
Yeah.
I love Peterborough. It's nice to travel.
Yeah, exactly. And we've talked about that before. And so I guess, in terms of dreams, it's being able to sort of sustain a lifestyle that meets Maureen's and mine goals, I guess. So anyways.
If somebody would like to get in touch with you
Yeah.
at Royal Bank Dominion Securities,
Yeah.
how would they do that?
Well, we've got a website, so if you typed in my name, Paul Harris-Lowe, under Google, it's one of the first things that would pop up. So you can get in touch with me that way. Certainly to call us at the office is easy enough to do. If they're talking to you, Bill, just ask Bill. And
Be glad to.
Yeah, and just say, Bill, what's Paul's number? I'd love to have a chat with him.
Thanks for coming out.
You're welcome. Thank you.
This is our first podcast. I think it's been unusual for me, but it's been different. But yeah, it seems to,
Well, like I say, we kick the tires and you see what happens. And yeah.
So I'm Bill Smerhy, and I work at Royal LePage Parkway in Peterborough. And if you want to give me a call, with any real estate needs, I'd be glad to talk to you. And for now, we're going to say goodbye.